In order to make our meetings more efficient, we are limiting public comment to the beginning of the meeting, the public to be heard sections. The select board meetings are in the public, not of the public. There will occasionally be an agenda item where we will allow public comment. Today we'll be allowing public comment on the Cilley Hill Dam. Please do not use the chat on Zoom for anything other than technical issues such as I can't raise my hand, I can't come off mute, I can't hear you. Better admit, Wayne. And with that, we will go directly into public to be heard. So this is about anything on the agenda other than the Cilley Hill Dam or anything not on the agenda. Do we have any public to be heard?
I want to talk about the Cilley Hill Dam.
Right, so we'll give you,
Okay,
well, that's coming up
Coming in.
soon, and we'll have some commentary for that. Any other? Okay, next on the agenda is discussion and expectations of town meeting reimagined kickoff meeting.
I'm here to, I believe I'm here just to answer your questions. I'm not sure if you, will you tell me what you'd like me to?
I'm not 100% sure how this got on the agenda, but it's on there. And so we're glad to have you, and it's coming up Saturday, and I hope everybody can make it.
I think that's what you need to talk about.
Yeah, so it's Saturday, everyone. We're excited. This is our budget kickoff. That means it's your chance to give the select board input into things you care about that go into our agenda or our budget process, which takes us months to kind of compile and figure out all these things. And so we did this last year, was our first year ever doing it. We learned a lot last year, so this year we expect it to go a little more smoothly and apply some of the issues that we've learned. And we continue to have a town meeting reimagined committee task force that Gay is nice enough to continue to attend. And so we've asked her to come just in case there are questions, but mostly it's about, we want people to go and we want you to weigh in on your budget and talk about things while we still have a chance to consider. It's a lot easier for us in September than it is for us in January.
The other thing that they're doing is to make sure there's more time for public questions and understanding what a public question is.
Yes, that's a good point. Not just budget, but other types of ballot items like questions.
And I think it was on the agenda primarily because of me, because I was out of town, missed the meeting, select board meeting, came back and was like, oh my God, it's 2 days after the next select board meeting. What are we gonna, like, what do we have to do? And the answer is pretty much nothing.
You listen.
Relax. Right, exactly.
One of the, yeah.
So that was me, like, oh my God, there's big things happening, we need to be on top of this, but really. Eric's gonna say a few words, just open it up, and then you guys are gonna run it, and we're just gonna be there listening.
Right.
You're gonna be a lot like the words I just said.
Yeah, and it's really, I have had 2 years in a row where family health things have prevented my being there. I was at Mass General with Chuck last year when we had this, and this year I don't know whether I can make it. They're just juggling a lot at home. It's good, but just a lot.
It's a lot.
So, but the feedback we have got from last year was it was too much presentation. And that, but otherwise people really liked the small group meetings. And I think that maybe people in this room might wonder why, because we're people who participate and have asked questions at town meeting and are comfortable with that process. But there are people for whom that is really a scary process, and participating in a small group is much more comfortable. And this is a balance to the meeting in in January that is more like a meeting of the whole, where there's a moderated conversation. So emphasis on small groups, emphasis on listening. And then the big lesson last year was, once we got to January, we didn't know this when we did the kickoff last year, but by the time we got to the January meeting, the deadlines for submitting public question petitions had already passed. So, and it was already challenging for Jericho to fit a whole budget presentation and discussion and modifications into 3 hours in an evening meeting. So this is the chance to draw attention to the public question process and help people try to understand the distinction between a public question that comes up having to do with town business and a public question that might have to do with international issues. And
Can I pause you right there while I'm still thinking of it? I think that's a really good point. And I think I'm still lost on it. I think if somebody, maybe with the most seniority on the board, could write up a clear bulleted.
yeah, I actually did that. I'd be glad to send it to you because I was very confused and Jessica and SJ and Catherine helped me put that together. So we did that because for that exact reason, to say, what are the things you need 5% of the voters for? What are the things you need 10%? When is it 10%?
And what do you just need the select board to say, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that would
And
be
you're
good.
gonna talk about that on
It
Saturday?
is, I believe that is on the agenda this
It is.
meeting. Yeah, that is, there's a slide having to do with that and there'll be time for Q&A.
Good.
And I believe SJ is doing that, I'm not sure. I wasn't at Monday's meeting. I had been planning to do it, but I can't be there.
And they really, I mean, Dave had a real nice sheet with, you know, all the things that they needed to check off and then who's doing what and, you know, it was really well organized and, you know, basically they're driving in from Maine, because that's where they zoomed from. And they will have the meeting and then go back to Maine.
Yeah, they're driving back.
So Dave's gonna run.
They'll moderate the meeting.
Yeah.
And, but SJ, there are moderators for each of the small groups.
Or not us.
That was the other
Or not.
point I was gonna make, because I agree, those small groups are great. You can get a lot more people talking, people that aren't as comfortable in front, but it depends if you get a talker in there,
Yeah.
and sometimes that talker can dominate the whole group and.
I've
So good
seen
moderator will
the
help.
coaching that's been offered to the two folks and, you know, asking them to really be attentive to folks who dominate and then also nudge or welcome, make the
Make
folks who
space.
are quieter, make
That's awesome.
space.
And
Great.
Doesn't always mean it'll happen and maybe,
That's
you know,
what
others
you can
can-
do, but
yeah.
be mindful of it.
And they have some questions already set up for people.
you know, to prompt.
The prompts.
Or I think some of those will begin to show up in Front Porch Forum. Or maybe they have, I haven't read Front Porch Forum, but the idea was to seed
Right.
some of that through Front Porch Forum posts ahead of time. One thing I would say is thinking longer term. This is a lot for a really small group to manage. And it's just, and the people on this group are doing a zillion things, all of them.
Yes.
That's true for, I know that's true. Yeah, if you got something to get done, ask a busy person. You all are doing a zillion things too. But it's, yeah, it's been hard until recently to even find the task force because we are not an official thing. We're just a task force. And Catherine had explained why that makes sense, and I don't dispute that. But I would love to have us be visible throughout, but like not disappear in between these meetings because we really do need help, volunteers. There are a lot of tasks.
You're gonna be asking for volunteers, I hope, at this session too, if anyone would like to get involved in the task force.
Yeah, we asked for, I will remind them to do that.
Well, I think the other thing is because we were going to do it for 2 or 3 years to see how it worked and whether it is worth it. If it continues to improve, then that makes sense to have a permanent committee to do the work. But if we see that trending off, that people go, well, yeah, first year was this, but
Yeah.
then, you know.
There's also enough happening in other towns that I think there's just gonna be more to learn at the League of Cities and, you know, it's been interesting to listen to what Waterbury's doing, Duxbury, Charlotte. I met with somebody with the chair of their select board there. They didn't pass a resolution, but they're doing something. So they had a whole debate about going to Australian ballot and they tabled the question, but the select board said, we hear you. Here's our way of going at that. So there are a number of towns thinking this through and there may be things we can learn from some of them as they do.
Great.
So thank you for coming. I know we all are very aware of all that you do, and having you come on a Saturday is really great, and I will feel badly if I'm not there, but.
So,
And we all can go because it's not our meeting. And the other thing is,
Well, it's warned,
but it's, yeah,
but it's not a select board.
it's not a select board
No,
meeting,
right.
so,
We're
we're
not
not,
even really talking.
we're,
So,
right, we're
right.
generally talking away from each other.
select boards are able to go to other people's meetings without triggering even having to have an agenda, but it's nice when you have one. Because what the select board has done, when it was only three of us, but we went, we would go to, local concern meetings, the different consulting meetings with engineers and things like that, the public's coming to. And how we figured out to make sure that people didn't think we were talking about stuff, is everybody sat in a different spot.
Yep, that's what we did last year too, right?
And that's what we did.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Different tables,
We did.
Different tables, the whole thing,
Probably
because
the
there's
same
gonna,
thing.
they expect 7 or 8 tables, so there's.
It's very hard to know how many people are
Right.
gonna show up. It's been a trick with figuring out how many moderators to have for small group meetings, so. One thing I also we've talked about is, this is not the meeting to decide everything. Like, we don't need to battle it out.
Right.
This is a meeting for raising issues.
Steer things.
And I had particularly have that concern with respect to the citizen petition. There is a citizen petition that is circulating. I believe it has to do with Palestine. I'm not, that other towns have looked at as well. I've seen posts on Front Porch Forum. It is definitely an issue where they're gonna be, strong feelings. And is there a way that I doubt it'll get solved on Saturday, but it could be that there could be some interim meetings between people who are interested, who care on both sides, who might find a way to find some wording that would be less inflammatory and maybe not. It's an international issue, and, the international community seems to not be able to figure this out, but.
I'm sure we can.
Yeah, we got it.
We have a 5-person board now, we're all over that.
But anyway, all I'm saying is, it isn't a meeting for solving a lot of things. It's a meeting to raise issues. And there may be sometimes when we say, hey, this is something where there could be a separate meeting to talk this out.
And if you're interested in pursuing this, here's the procedure, and you can do that, and now.
Right, you don't need the task
Part of the
force to own
conversation.
that.
No, you don't, absolutely, that is, that people who are interested in particular, anything particular for a public question, it's their responsibility to make sure that they follow the rules for petitions.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is DHCD seeks municipal partners to build homes faster, easier, and more affordable. And I agree with that. I don't know what this is about, but I agree with building homes faster and easier and more affordable.
Did you read the article about how much it costs per unit to do the 94 unit thing from Champlain Housing Trust in Shelburne?
I didn't see that.
I know Chris wants to talk, but there, it's.
You can wait this.
I have to read it today because we talked about affordability and the Ecos plan and stuff last night as well, the RBC. And so these are all affordable for the few perpetual, both rental and home ownership. But it was $55 million, which meant it's $602,000 per unit.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and because they had over 20 some different ways of funding it to make it affordable, so that the units that were sold were around 200,000.
That's like what they did in Municipal.
Yeah.
Those ones on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But trying to do affordability right now without a whole lot of multiple grants, and that's why that's why I was saying it, because he's trying to get money to do it.
Go ahead, Chris.
Great, thank you. Hi. I'm here to share information on Vermont's Home for All program and a potential opportunity for Jericho. And to let you know that I'm planning on submitting something to be considered for participation in a pilot program. I want you to know what I'm doing now in the event that we were invited to be in that program. So you'll know what this is. And we'll have to decide then if we want to participate. And I'll explain like why it's not clear now if we want to do that yet. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. But Homes for All is a Vermont Department of Housing and Community Development program to make small infill housing easier. So think like ADUs or a second small home on an existing lot. These homes are usually smaller, they add variety to our housing stock, and they can be more affordable. And as part of this, the state has created ready-to-build code-compliant plans from ADUs to 4-unit buildings, so that property owners will be able to use them at no cost. So that means if someone wants to do something like this on their property, there are fewer design expenses and a smoother permit review. So now the program's in a phase where they are launching a pilot, and they're looking for 3 towns to help spot where infill could work and which of the pre-designed homes would fit onto different lots and different types of neighborhoods. So if we were selected to participate in the pilot program, this could help Jericho in a couple ways. It would advance our housing goals that were adopted by the Select Board. It could encourage new homes in areas that we've already identified for growth, both in zoning and our town plan. And it builds on the recent zoning updates that the Select Board approved just very recently that makes it easier to build housing in our village centers. So there's not a lot of information on what's expected of the towns that get selected to participate. But if selected, it's likely someone would need to serve on a stakeholder advisory committee, plan and host a town tour, and hold a community meeting about the program. There's no financial commitment on behalf of the town, but there would be staff time needed to coordinate with DHCD. So what we would get from participating in this are tailored construction drawings for housing ranging from ADUs to fourplexes. We'd get early access to 10 ready-to-build designs. We'd get help in identifying infill sites. We get a say in shaping a statewide program and some ideas for streamlining permitting. So I'm planning on submitting our application by tomorrow's deadline. There's no action that's needed tonight, but if we are selected, like I said, the Select Board, we need to decide whether or not we want to participate in this. So I don't think there's anything for us to lose by throwing our hat into the ring at this point. If we're not selected, we would still be able to use these pre-approved plans once they're made public. I'm not sure what the timeline is for that. We'd be able to learn from the pilot program that's going to be taking place and then decide if we want to do something on our own later. So that's my update, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Hey, Chris, can you define an infill site for me?
An infill site could be like a single family home on a large lot that just has space to build another home. It could be a vacant lot. It could be any place where you could put in another house. Or how I should say housing unit, because it could be an ADU.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I think it's fine that you applied for that, and we don't have to make any decisions, but I personally am hoping that we're selected.
I mean, we certainly fit some of the, based on your application, it looks like we have a lot of the things that they're looking for.
I think so too. I know there are at least 12 other towns that are thinking of applying. I think we might be the only one from Chittenden County. I think the fact that we've got 3 different villages is an advantage. It's 3 different contexts to look at and learn from. So anyway, now you know. Now you know what I'm doing, and hopefully we'll get selected to participate.
And we have bandwidth, the staff have bandwidth to navigate this if we're selected.
That's a big question. So that's why it's not clear what the expectations are from the towns. So I need to better understand what that is to understand what staff needs to cover and whether or not we have the capacity to do that.
Fair enough.
And yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Great,
Yep.
thank you.
Two agendas in and no motions yet. Weird.
Yeah,
Okay, next is review and consider approving funding opportunity for an engineering study to evaluate the Cilley Hill Dam. Sabina is gonna share her screen because she has some updated slides.
Alrighty, hello everyone. Oh, you need to let me share.
Should be good.
Okay, so I am here tonight, representing the Conservation Commission. And we, wanted to speak with you tonight about just bringing something to your attention, regarding the Cilley Hill Dam. So, I just have a very brief, slideshow here and should not take very long. So, just a little bit of background. So I think most of us know that Jericho has a history, with lots of mills and dams in the town at the old turn of the century, as part of our town, infrastructure. And right now, there are still 3 dams in the town, so they're on that very tiny map up there, but, the red mill has a dam that has already been breached, so that doesn't require any attention. The town forest is a dam that we brought to your attention a few years ago, and that is slated to be removed next summer, I think. So, work is being done there. That was a derelict dam. And then the third one is the one that is on Cilley Hill Road. So that dam is intact, but potentially hazardous. So here's a picture of the dam if you've never seen it. So there's just a few considerations that we wanted to go over with you in relation to the dam. So one is that the town is responsible for maintenance of the dam to ensure that there's public safety in place for both upstream and downstream of the dam. And so anything that happens with the dam, the town is responsible. We know that the condition of the dam is such that it's old and it has outlived its useful life. And so the last assessment of the dam occurred in 2010. And at that time, it was determined to be in poor condition and it was already listed as unsafe then. Another consideration is the jurisdiction of the dam with Vermont Dam Safety. So because the size of the dam holds back more than 500,000 square feet of water, it falls under the jurisdiction of this Vermont Dam Safety group. And what that means for the town is just additional review and compliance standards that you would be accountable for as people who are responsible for the dam. Next, and this is sort of why we're bringing it up now, is that the state of Vermont recently passed the Flood Safety Act. And that will bring about new changes and will bring more stringent requirements when it comes to dams. So that's ahead. So anything that we had to comply with now is going to be even stricter when the Flood Safety Act, is fully in place. And so that might also lead to insurance implications and the creation of an emergency action plan in case the dam ever fails. So there's things that we're going to be held accountable for doing in the future. And then the last thing that we want you to consider is that as part of that 2010 assessment, there was a recommended action that was never acted upon. And so that was that a professional engineer who's qualified in dam safety and design should be retained to do an evaluation of the dam and make recommendations for either repairing or removing the dam. So that's where we are today. It's 15 years later, just like a blink of an eye. And so we wanted to make you aware of all that, and our ask tonight is that we move forward with this a little bit more and sort of act on those 2010 recommendations. So the good news is that there are funding opportunities for doing the study. So again, the study is just doing an analysis saying, how much would it cost to fix the dam? How much would it cost to remove the dam? And then you all would then have that information at your disposal, and then you could decide what you want to do as a town board. The two funding sources are coming up right now in late September and October. So again, that's another reason why we're talking to you tonight. Lake Champlain Basin Grant and Watersheds United Vermont both have money available that would be possibly available to cover this project. The funding is 100%, and so anything that the town would lay out in terms of doing the study would be reimbursed, and so ultimately the cost to the town is nothing. And then the other great partnership that we have are proposing is that the Winooski River Conservation District is available to help us put the grant through. So everything from doing the application to maintaining the grant. And so they would be a resource that we could tap into, and then it wouldn't draw on town staff time. So I actually have Dan is here from the Winooski River Conservation District in case anyone has any questions. But that's it in a nutshell. So the ask is just to allow the Conservation Commission to sort of move forward with the Winooski Conservation District in applying for a grant and then doing the study. So we're not making any decisions now. It's just following through on what was recommended 15 years ago.
Thanks, Sabina. Why don't we go to public comment first, before we go to select board comment? Is everyone okay with that? Did you have something you would like to share?
I certainly do.
I apologize, I already forgot your name, and
John Willard is my name.
I forgot to ask you to sign in as well. Oh, we got your name now. So John Willard.
You like to hear, you want a history of it and how it has not deteriorated much in the last 25 years since we first repaired it. I took pictures then. I have pictures from yesterday. The concrete is worn, it's old. It was built about 1880s, perhaps. It means a lot to the community there. I'm sure if you approve this, it's going to take us down a slippery slope, and you know exactly what's going to happen, because I don't think any engineer is going to say, oh, we need to rebuild it. You're not going to find anybody that, but if you at least, if you must go down that road, then I would hope that you would at least find somebody that's unbiased, which I doubt you can find, because I don't know of any engineers that ever said they want to rebuild the dam. The dam means a lot to our neighborhood, our community. I'd like to keep it. For 24 years ago, we rebuilt it with just donations and sweat and blood from the neighbors. We asked the town for money. I think $1,000 was approved at the next town meeting for look into a fish ladder or something along those lines, but
How did you guys,
I'd like to know how much of, how much would it cost to remove a dam like that? Do you have any ideas on it?
No, it sounds like
Wait, that's the point of the study.
Sounds like this engineering
Well, other dams have been removed, so what is the You know, what is their standard?
So you can address your comments to the board, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
it sounds like this, what the Conservation Commission is asking us to consider is whether or not to ask for grant funding to fund a study, an engineering study that would help us answer those
Well, if it ain't
questions.
broke, don't break it. How's that sound? I mean, I don't. If you start doing that, they're gonna recommend it be removed, and I don't think it should be.
I should appreciate your comments very much. I just need a little more history on how is it meaningful for the neighbors? You said it means a lot to you.
Well,
What part of that?
okay, people swim there above the dam. They've swam there I've lived there 47 years, and people swim there all the time. They kayak there all the time. They canoe all the time. I've had two guys go over the falls in kayaks because they thought it would be a thrilling experience, and it was for them.
Hey, well,
Made my hair grayer. Then there's the wildlife. I know Trout's Unlimited will like no dams and just open water and all that, but what about the beavers that come out every morning and slap their tails, and the muskrats that live there, and the Canadian geese that have their babies and fertilize my lawn every year? They're so cute. And the ducks. I mean, you're eliminating all of that if you go down this road, I believe. I think you should table it.
Thank you for your comments.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't think, clearly I was on the board then, but we really didn't do anything then either.
No.
Not in 2010 when with that way asked was me. Because I read the letters of, Todd was there, but it never came to the select board.
When it was repaired, it wasn't the dam that was repaired, it was the concrete. Alan Morse put a walkway in or something to block it was more work on the side of the concrete to keep the road from being undermined. And I didn't know anything about any evaluation of the dam in 2010. In fact, I just got the report from Karina last week. We had a nice visit on the porch.
was it? When you guys all kind of rallied together and did some work?
Yeah.
Was that the work on the cement on the sides?
No, that was work on the dam broke, one timber broke, so we
Yeah.
had to replace that. In order to do that, we had to take the boards off and replace those, and we replaced the timbers on that one side of the dam.
And you used the Excels and someone knew how to do it, just kind of
We,
piecemeal it
as we
together.
took it apart, it was cantilevered both ways, which
Yeah.
is pretty unique because it disperses the pressure apparently, which I found interesting. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
They're clever, quite an experience. Fun, really. At the same time, the town was fixing the bridge, new concrete on the bridge. And we put planks across the river for people to park on one side that looked up on Hamlin Lane and Cilley Hill. So they could park one car on one side, one on the other. It was kind of, you wouldn't come in, but we got over it.
Well, we appreciate your comments and thanks for coming.
Yeah.
There's a hand up. Wayne, do you have a question? He'll just have his own. You don't have to.
Yes, I think, yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, for 2 years, I lived about 100 feet from that dam back in the early 80s, so I know it well. And I also used to see trout trying to jump up. If you look to the lower right, you can see the big rocks, and they were trying to make it over the dam. So if Mr. Johnson is proposing to put a fish ladder, I think that would address any issues about fish migration patterns. Other than that, I guess my issue would be, or my question, not an issue, would be that if it is maintained, it's the town that has to maintain it. And if I understand from Sabina's presentation, we would also have the liability if it broke. Is that true?
But you said it is, sounds like it is the town responsibility to maintain, and it's the town's liability if it blows up and floods town hall. I guess.
Has ownership been established?
It looks,
It was a little, it was kind of like, I guess we'll just work on it, okay, fine, I guess we'll call it ours, there was nothing.
It's very 2002.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna harp on it, but like, I was in elementary school, but like, there are things that probably should have happened to.
I was not.
We all were.
I was for 50 years at that point.
Questions for Dave, while he's online?
So,
I,
I'm sorry.
Well,
I just had a quick question. So if the people that love the dam, could there be some kind of a, I don't know, beneficent society where people gave donations that would, be in some kind of an investment portfolio that, I don't know, got 3% dividend per year that would have money if there was an issue that they could pay for? I'm just throwing it out there.
okay, thank you for your comments, Wayne. Now we can discuss,
Yeah, we probably,
or if there are other,
Let's do questions for Dan first.
I'm counting that as the discussion.
Oh, okay.
so.
I don't have any questions for Dan.
My question for Dan is the Vermont Fish and Wildlife involved in any of this surveying, or is that part, like, where are we thinking of the ecosystem and not just structural here? Can you tell me a little more?
Yeah, I would incorporate a number of people in the study. It would certainly be an engineering study to assess the structural nature of the dam, but we would also speak with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Vermont Fish and Wildlife, to get a sense of what the dam is doing ecologically, and get their opinions.
And their opinions on either a repair or tearing it down.
Well, or
But-
like a fish ladder was mentioned, some sort of retrofit that would allow fish passage. We would also get opinions on something like that. I mean, in terms of tearing it down, like from a fish perspective, that's the best option, right? And you don't really need someone from Fish and Wildlife to tell you that. So that's the spec what their opinion will be. That like higher, it'd be like no dam, fish ladder, dam, right? In terms of fish passage, but we certainly want their opinions. I think it would really come down to structure about like in terms of the urgency. If the dam were to be removed, right, / repaired. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know if you know or if anyone on the board knows. Does Vermont Fish and Wildlife still stock trout
Yes,
there? Yes.
I mean, I read that packet that they,
In 2002, I saw that they were stocking it. And again, I don't know if things are the same.
Oh,
since
that's good
2002.
Gary Irish sent an email and he referenced that trout can't get up past, he said, I'm not saying it's true. Trout can't get up past the mill anymore. And I thought he mentioned that they stock up above anyways.
they stuck above envelope, because we should mention that, put Gary's letter and support into the record. Because he's supporting keeping the dam because of the history.
okay.
And there's other things.
I don't know how to make stuff like that work when Paula's not here. I get, well, remind me to forward that and say, Paula, please add this to the record.
Yeah, she didn't get it, it was just the board.
All right. Dealt with it. Thinking of it. Other comments from the board, especially for Dan? Cool.
Well, I haven't done anything about this since 2010.
It never came, I don't remember it ever coming to the select board, quite frankly, but.
I guess in what I was seeing, and I was trying to follow chronologically, we were given the packet from 2002, where Vermont Fish and Wildlife were recommending that we take the dam out or make some changes. Then there's nothing until 2000, so like I feel like that had to have gone to the select board. I know
Well,
that.
at that point, the select board, did not, the administrative, they did not have a town administrator.
Ah,
It was just an administrative assistant at that point. So everybody had their own little thing that people went to, they went to, oh, if I want to do this, I'm gonna go to this select board member. If I want to do that, I'm with this select board member. That's what happened over, and then eventually, it got so bad that VLCT came in and, asked people about, what they thought was the issues and stuff like that, and they interviewed both the chair of the planning commission, which is Stuart Alexander at the time, and I was chair of the DRB at the time. And then we ended up hiring going through a couple interim town administrators with Bert Moffett, and then had one for a while and then moved him on. And then Todd came in around 2010, so this is one of the very early things that he had to deal with. But I don't remember it coming to the board, but of course, it was I remember pretty well, but on the other hand.
Department took care of it. What they did.
Yeah, one of the, I know back in 2015, we put where there was a hole that was open, we put a piece of fresh treated plywood with some anchor bolts in it. I think we might have put some concrete blocks to block from anyone falling in, and that's from as far as we've done.
That I'm aware of. It used to be a clean out with a metal grate on top.
Oh, yeah.
That's deteriorated.
Yeah.
Caused the big holes, little kids fishing there would scare me. So we.
My next is, it's not clear to me that this is the town's responsibility. It seemed fuzzy in all of our paperwork. How do we confirm that we even have the authority over this dam?
I don't know the answer to that. That's a
Okay.
great question.
It's a good question.
Probably the club.
Can the conservation committee help us with that? With all your awesome expertise on dams and water and streams and
Or maybe
rivers?
Gary. Huh?
Well, but your question is who owns the dam,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know if we have more information that we've
Right.
already given you.
So I would forward what we have here, Claudine,
Yeah, Claudia.
the Claudine, or into, or I don't know, just say like, when the.
That would be LCT, the free one first, but that's a good idea.
Thank you, yeah, but then you say like, how does this, let's go down when this situation with this.
Well, I think that because they would be very good to answer like they're saying, the new law, how does that apply to this orphan, essentially orphan dam?
Right, if someone does a study based on these new rules, how is it, like, how does it happen to land on Jericho if we don't know for sure if we own it? So yeah, maybe we can take that as an action item, follow up with VLCT with what information we have, and good question. I don't like the hard ones though, so if you have any other like ones I can answer. Yeah, softballs are great.
For the 2002, 2010 thing, that's all right.
Yeah. But it is interesting when you say, what were you were in school, and the rest of us are going, oh my God.
I won't dive into our fishing. I was one of the kids fishing on the dam,
That is terrific. So I guess.
So we have a decision in front of us. We either approve Sabina's request to apply for grant funding to do an engineering study, or we don't.
I think since it's 100, if they get the grant, it's 100% covered. I mean, data is good, whether you take it up.
It's the big one.
I'm gonna kill that, okay?
That's okay. All right.
I didn't even quite that dramatic. All right, I did, I missed it too. Yeah. That's so good.
Just waiting for your rock
Can you put your coffee over here so I can get all of that?
Let me try this.
Okay. I'm really pretty good. I get above where they're gonna go.
But I think, it's 100% data to know whether it can be fixed would be good, whether, or, because at one point even, we had a member who, no longer able to come to the, chair of energy task force, who was very much interested in micro dams for, energy, production. So I don't know if that, that even happens. It's something that small.
When Ike and Katrina Stokes lived there, their son and I talked about putting a paddle wheel in there, how nice that would look to generate power.
Yeah. Cause at least could generate power maybe for the house or something like that, or somebody's house.
So noting John's concern and Gary's concern and not at all clear at all in support of doing anything at all with the dam, I would still make a motion to approve the Conservation Commission to apply for the grant.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I agree. More information to make the decision. I understand your concern about the slippery slope, but I do a lot better making decisions one way or the other with more information. So with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you for your comments. Next on the agenda
Thank you,
is
John.
Thank you.
the opposite of it.
Hey, okay, and John, can you just keep, however you heard about this, keep your radar up on that, and when it comes back around, we get the report.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe Irish too.
Thank you.
The opposite of a dam is culvert, I think. So
Yep.
next is review and consider approval of culvert purchase. So what this is about is Jacob wants some money.
That's right.
Wow, I wanna use some budgeted money.
Well,
Yeah.
So. Keep it simple, there's 260 total feet of culvert that I would be purchasing. Which 160 of it would resupply what I had used for gravel for the road upgrades that were used up there. I have several different culverts to replace, one on Skyview, Meadow Lane, Griswold, or not Griswold, Governor Peck, and these would go towards those projects.
Are these culverts upscaling the size of the culverts or just replacing what was, depending on the water flow, where the,
So-
washouts and stuff like that?
Yep, so these, some of them, the one driveway does not even have a culvert on Skyview. So this would be, and it is at the crest of the hill, so this would be adding a culvert into there, which is allowing the water to actually drain and not run into the resident's driveway, and continue the ditch farther up. And then it would also be, either maintaining the same size or upgrading.
Right. Because it's important that we think about upgrading whenever we can,
Yep.
just because.
Well, so this week we've replaced, a 3-foot culvert and a 2-foot in diameter culvert. The 3-foot we upgraded to a 4-foot, and then the 2-foot we upgraded to a 3-foot. Because there was severe washout where the outlets were.
Budgeted money and using budgeted money that was budgeted for the highway department, why did you spend the money?
It's over the $5,000.
It's budgeted.
Even if it's budgeted, if it's, you still have to have the authority to spend it, even if you have it in your budget. Because it's
So we
either,
have to approve every purchase above $5,000.
I mean, that happens with pretty much all kinds of,
That's not ridiculous, let's spend money. You need a motion, this is ridiculous.
well,
Make a motion.
I mean, that is,
but
it's
that's.
a hard way to get him to come to me.
You're doing one of the same thing, Eric.
all you have to do is text me.
But because you were the fiscal agent for the.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I thought that was like, if someone, if Jake said, hey, we made a mistake, we need to spend $8,000 on these culverts we had budgeted for, da, 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 da. We didn't plan on this, it's extra money, ask the board to approve. I thought, this seems silly that we're approving every single but it doesn't matter. I make a motion to approve the purchase of the culverts in the amount of
64.
65, 60.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Wait,
Aye.
it was seconded, but yeah.
It was,
Oh, was it?
Laura Crane seconded it.
Yeah, and just for Donna, that was $6,465.60.
For culverts.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Jacob. Absolutely. See you Monday morning.
Thank you, guys.
Well, they're out there. I could say that our approval of, at the last meeting of the Kings doing the, Kings Company doing the projects left over from FEMA. They were, when I came in.
Oh,
that-
yeah, yeah.
when I came in for this meeting, and that was, a little after 6, there were a whole bunch of trucks still on Knife Island, but they were obviously getting ready to do the work. There were trucks and equipment and stuff
Cool.
and people.
Yeah, we had to, yeah, that's the one we had to add that last minute agenda item for.
Right.
Yep.
Yep, they're up there working. Starting on Knife Island.
So I think I can launch this next agenda item, even though I'm pretty sure it's Peter that wanted it on there. It's the follow-up of the discussion up from the retreat. So we did a select board retreat just prior to you guys joining. I'm not.
Right straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, so at that retreat, we, I'll let you, we're talking about the follow-up from the discussions of the retreat that you wanted on the agenda. And I think what Peter wanted to talk about is, so last year, I don't know how closely you were paying attention to the TMRI, the second meeting, which is the big one where we set the budget. The big thing was the big budget item that came in for $30,000 and it came down to a one-person vote. And so we talked at that meeting that we need to come up with, this group, this body needs to come up with some sort of guidelines for what we would, if that exact situation were to happen again, we would want to move that to a ballot item so that people could vote for the regular budget and then say, here's an additional 30,000 for this particular thing. Because it was a little too hairy to have it down to one vote. And so we didn't really come up with any numbers at that meeting because we wanted to wait for you. But we think we need to go into not necessarily this Saturday's meeting.
No, they don't want you to do that for Saturday.
Right, that's exactly.
Right, but for the next one, we want to be able to say, if it's over this amount, and I don't know what this is, as we have decided, it's over X amount, and the vote is less than X%,
And or, you know,
then we as the board will likely take that and move it to a ballot item on the. And I think that's what you want to talk about, right?
No.
Okay.
Great, I'm trying to find it now, I just felt like that we had talked to retreat about like some big idea things, I can't fall off the top of my head, and then when you started this chair in March, you were like, hey, let's each share what we want to talk, what things we want to make sure don't fall off our radar. And I was thinking since Paul's not here, this would be a chance to revisit those ideas, like, oh, that's right, we haven't talked about. I'm doing it off the top of my head.
however, what Eric brought up.
But Eric, that's something else we need to talk about.
That is something we need to.
Yeah, you're right, we also kind of,
Because it's not just one or the other or both, you can't, because there was an item that was, bit of change. Particularly in a 5-member board.
Before we do that, I want to close out the thing about the big ideas thing.
Okay.
And so when you guys were not on the board when Eric started this year, right? So one thing you can get caught up in a lot of that. Let's spend 15 minutes talking about $6,000 we already budgeted and liquor licenses and minutiae stuff, and
all of which
you
we
can
have
do
to
that, but all of which you have to legally do, but you can kind of get lost in that and then after a year goes by and you're like, what, how do I do my time? I gotta spend a year twice a month in a meeting and the town is like, the roads are still paved and nothing else happened.
Just a minute, there's 2 people under the waiting room.
So Eric just, when he took over as chair,
Sorry.
said, sort of, what are some big ideas, what are some big things you wanna move on that we wanna not lose focus on? And we had talked about.
but
We had talked about, we listed out some of those topics, which I can't think what they were right now. They were Owens Riverside, wastewater and.
yeah, and
But just that idea of not sort of the forest for the tree, like just your, like.
right, in other words, populating stuff with important stuff and then letting the business of the town fill in around that instead of the business of the town taking up the agendas, and then we never get to, it, you never move the important things forward, is the idea.
Big rocks.
Big
Right.
rocks, yeah, you've taken that class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying not, I was actually trying not to.
I was thinking that, and I was like, just be quiet.
Yeah. There, how to,
That was-
how to move the big rocks, what, do we all agree on the big rocks? I think we did. Unfortunately, I don't have a great memory about what those big rocks were.
I mean, you're really working on one already, which is the wastewater. That was the number one. Thing.
Wastewater's the big one.
And maybe just for now, we just make a point to the next. Maybe 4 budget meeting if possible, the next meeting even, just to like revisit those ideas, not in a lengthy, just like almost even just bring Amy and Laura out and see what those things were and get their
Right.
thoughts on those.
That's a good idea.
But just not lose that sort of big picture, what are we doing here kind of ideas.
Yeah, and then maybe you can help me stay accountable, because I had every intention to every meeting, we're gonna move these things, and here I am, busy in the town stuff and doing exactly what we said we would do, so. So I think that would be good.
If there's no public in person,
Over.
can I move over there so I can see everybody? Is there any reason not to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
We could put another person here at the end.
Yeah, that's what we did before, I was taking up.
Yes,
seat, so I,
See everybody.
No.
yeah, it's a little harder, I don't notice the,
I can just sit here, is that all right, or?
yeah,
What's there?
It's not a good seating meeting.
The other one.
yeah, we don't have a great one.
The other one was worse, yeah. It's why everybody went back to this
It's like a
one.
different zip code.
Yeah. But in the future, we could at least move Laura down there so she can see the screen.
I have to earn my way to that spot.
Well, Amy jumped the line, Amy.
I just swapped because I knew I was gonna have to run that, so.
Have a talk with
Any more discussion there?
Well, I was just gonna say, it's not just it's as you said, it's a combination of dollars, X dollars and Y votes, but it's also, we did have one that was, some decent money, but it was so overwhelmingly voted.
Right, so we have to figure out how to work that, because if it's a kind of a high number, but it's 100% yes, then it kind of seems kind of silly to say, well, we'd rather hear from the rest of them. So we've got to kind of work through that a
I
little.
think we can either, or like have a 2 qualifiers, so like if it's over $10,000, or if it was within a 5% margin of votes, then it has to go to.
Yeah.
Like you have for.
And there should be some number that we honestly should consider,
Right.
right? Because we've already put the budget together by then. We've heard from the town.
Somebody has like $100,000 for
Yeah.
windows or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, above this number, doesn't matter what the vote is, we're not gonna add that.
Right. Because that is our responsibility as fiduciary agents for the town.
And we're doing better about encouraging people to bring those things forward now
Right.
on Saturday or between Saturday and whenever that meeting is. And so it shouldn't come to us out of the blue and be a very high number. And
into the budget.
And that's another thing to mention as part of your intro, what you get to talk about on Saturdays. The kickoff is not just the only opportunity they have. If there's a particular thing, and they really care about it, they really should come to the select board meeting and the budget that's going to talk about that thing. Whether it's trails or sidewalks or road paving or any of that, because each one of the select board meetings is going to be talking about some budget item by the time we hit November particularly. Probably even the end of October.
yeah, that's a really good point. It might be good if you all have points you'd like me to say, to shoot me an email individually of what you'd like me, because until Peter or one of you said, that I'm gonna kick it off, that was.
You're not gonna kick it off, they're very and will, but you have 3 minutes to speak.
Yeah, it's that I had forgotten about. But no problem, it makes total sense, and I think you did it last year, so that makes sense. Next on the agenda is wastewater update. So this in talking about moving those big rocks, one of the recommendations from the intern study was to talk about wastewater at every select board meeting. So we're gonna try to have this on every select board meeting. Some updates will be bigger than others. So I don't know what Peter has, but I have some notes here on the wastewater. So I am on the wastewater task force, and I'm also on the wastewater financial subgroup of that task force. So we did meet, and I just have some notes here. Chris Brown is gonna have a discussion with someone from VLCT to understand what help they have available for us to research all the funding that goes into, that's available from the state or from wherever it's available from. VLCT has people that help us do that, so he was gonna, Chris Brown is on the task force and on the planning commission. So he's gonna do that and have that update before our next meeting. I rewatched some old select board videos to remind myself what we had agreed upon, because the whole, like, the loan that covers the PER, the preliminary engineering report, which is the next step, right? So we had this big, what's the name of it?
Engineering report.
No,
Feasibility study.
Feasibility study, thank you. We had the feasibility study that got to 100%. The next step is the preliminary engineering report. And so I went and found the select board meeting where we approved that, and that was in the, I think it was in February. And that was when Du Bois and King presented their 100% report. And so we did. It was the three of us at the time, and we agreed to have them start the PER and to have them do a loan application for the loan to cover the cost of that preliminary engineering report. We also talked about doing it in phases. Catherine had a really good idea of, like, okay, we've got this huge project, but we also have this development that's ready to go in, and if that development goes in before we're even ready, they're gonna come up with their own solution, and we will lose all those connections. So that was a really good point. And so as part of that discussion, we decided to have them look at doing it in phases so that we can do it quicker. So that was part of what we discussed. So Du Bois and King, I am expecting them to have a proposal for this board, the select board, to approve that includes the loan application. That includes the loan for the October 16th meeting. Target at this point, we don't have people that say yes, absolutely, but that seems reasonable based on the other timelines we've looked at. So we think that we'll be ready on October 16th. The wastewater task force will be ready to ask this board, the select board, for approval to sign on for that loan and continue on the engineering report. That was my update. Peter, did you have any updates?
Yeah, I was on the outreach messaging subgroup. And I met with Kate McCarthy, who I think is amazing.
She is
And,
really good.
yeah, and somehow hire her to work for us, that would be fabulous.
You say those things in private.
Sorry, strike that from the record.
Yeah, because she was very active with this RPC last night.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
So Kate and Chris Shaheen and myself and Susan Brzee are the ones on that committee. We talked about just getting information out to people on how to do it, how, what big ideas were, to put together a website about it with studies, the feasibility study and FAQ, and some basic financial information, and making a video talking about why we're looking into this, why we want to do it. We also talked about bringing other people in to help out, and I personally sort of broke that into two groups, two types of people. One type is like workers, people who could help us with the work of going to, every third day, farmer's market, going to the farmer's market and doing a table there and getting information, kind of outreach, direct kind of stuff, people who could help with that. And the idea of reaching out to different sector people who, not just people who I travel with my circle, but people who are not my circle, I kind of reach all the different bodies within the town. So that's kind of one type of helper, and another type of helper is kind of feedback. So we put together a video explaining stuff, and then we give it to somebody or I go say, hey, what do you think of this? What does it make you think? What questions you left with? What didn't really make sense? Sort of two groups of people to help, being worker people and then feedback people. Pete McCarthy tried to put together a calendar I haven't looked at yet, but sort of laying out, here's the whole PER, the preliminary engineering report timeline. And let's think about the outreach and public information timeline matching up with that. Like we talked about every 2 weeks, a post of some kind from the wastewater committee, actually from Eric, the chair of the committee. Just like, hey, here our website is now live, and then 2 weeks later, we have an FAQ website, here's a video. Sort of a constant trickle of wastewater updates and information, just because people sort of see the third thing with where wastewater in it, maybe then you read the message. And then Du Bois and King is going to do a survey of people in the area about who wants to hook in, and I said, please don't do that. We've all kind of lived in that area. We've already done this just like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I didn't.
What's that?
Didn't they do it 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they said, well, things change in 2 years and et cetera, et cetera. And I said, well, at the very least, we need to get ahead of it. I wanna get messaging out saying, yep, you already did the survey, here's a version of it, here's how we're doing it, and sort of not having to show up and be like, are you kidding me? Like, oh, great, the town government is just asking more questions and doing nothing. So I want to kind of get ahead of that.
Or something else, like only go to people where houses have bought or sold the past 2 years since
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Like,
So we're going to talk to Du Bois about that and what the purpose of the survey is and how to get ahead of the just everyone in Riverside, everyone. Lots of people that I know in Riverside are sick of talking about what we're gonna do. Just do something for the love of God. And let's have it for the outreach task force. Oh, and there was a question about should we be doing any kind of handout or answering questions or saying anything at Saturday's meeting, town meeting Reimagined? I said no, that's not. I said if anything, we could put a flyer out or something. We don't want to be taking any time up on that. We don't want to make town meeting Reimagined become like, oh, a wastewater debate.
Yeah.
Or conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I have for wastewater.
Thanks, Peter. Next is select board updates.
The Jeff Force is looking for new members interested in continuing the local efforts regarding energy efficiency and climate because, the current, landscape of the energy and climate in the country. And because of that, we also had, we're planning on a joint meeting with the Underhill Energy Committee because they've reached out to us and said, we probably ought to start doing more work together because of what's going on anyway. But we also could use new members. And, there are things we can do locally to, be energy efficient and work with and deal with the climate. At the RPC, the good news is, at the RPC meeting last night, the board has warned the public hearing for the transportation improvement plan that goes to the feds for the federal fiscal year, as well as to the state for the up and coming year. And officially on it is construction of the Lead River and the MMU multiple sidewalks in 2026. And then let's go 26, 27 years. And they also said the original gathering of select board chairs was successful, so the RBC is considering having another one at the end of October, and that impacts Eric. if people want to get the, you know, if it's part of the select board chairs, they're holding convenient those. And I guess the first one, people liked it so much, they were going to have another one,
Sorry. Mhm.
the RBC.
So like all the Chittenden County Select Board chairs.
Yeah.
Of which you are one.
Yes.
You know, you're right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's you.
Yeah,
Cool.
they haven't, you know, got the date yet, but, people liked it enough because they, you know, shared ideas and things like that. I mean. But that's what I,
Obviously, none of the other ones are smarter than me.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely, possibility.
yeah. So that's what I got.
I don't have any updates that I wrote down beyond the wastewater one. I did get a lot of in-person congratulations about, or thanks, or whatever you want to call it, about the speed bumps coming off.
Oh, my Amy read me a thing on Facebook. That's where did the bumps go? And there's a whole bunch back and forth.
I read that too.
Yeah, I saw
I
it.
don't really do much on Facebook.
I don't either.
People looking that up. How do you comment?
Yeah,
It's angry or not?
totally doom scrolling, right?
But yeah,
And I read every single one.
Yes,
You're Amy.
What's that?
I'm appreciative of this. You're Amy.
I mean,
A couple questions, maybe they're updates, but so should I, to correct this on the poster, the date that,
They can
the
talk.
date's right, but should I just forward that to Linda and Paula?
We have
that came from TMRI.
that's from KMRI, so that.
Oh, I should have mentioned the game to
I did,
Oh,
You did?
you did.
I did in the email,
Okay.
once I saw what Laura said,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just clarifying that.
because they will send out a new one anyway, I noticed the flyer that they put out too had it
The
on.
same thing on the poster on the.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah, they were late getting it out, so that I think it was, what they did is end up putting the same date that they were doing for this
Right.
one.
Yeah,
is what it looked like.
Saturday, yeah. And then, very small thing, I'm a fan of name tags for things like the town meeting reimagined or,
Mhm.
and, you know, St. Mike's gets them from the place in St. Albans, they cost like $9 each. Some people have opinions that are negative about name tags, but I think it would be helpful at some sort of official function if we identified ourselves.
But it's not our
It says
No.
select board.
No,
Okay.
but regardless,
It doesn't matter.
That's true, they're new, because people don't know you guys.
Right,
But regardless, even if we're sitting in one of those smaller
We do
breakout groups.
At the meeting, people are asked to fill one out.
Everyone.
And so I think,
Oh, that's right, we did, we had our names on last year.
but you're right, having some official one that says.
and I'm happy to work with Paula and do the,
Sure.
It's not Paula's job. It's
yeah, okay.
KMRI.
No,
it's
she's
name tag.
saying, she's using this as an example.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But she's saying in general, it might be good for,
I mean, like if you're sitting at the farmer's market, or I don't know, the
Yeah.
town party. I mean, I don't know that I would have worn one at the town party, but.
But if there's a situation where you're like, oh, I'm for representing the board of this.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
meet
it's
you and talk.
Yeah.
I want to meet you and talk to you, and they're like, well, why are you wanting me to talk to me?
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We could drill holes in these. Where I can make.
The town, the Jericho Center Preservation, the community center, there was quite a few people who came out on that Saturday.
Yeah, okay,
It was huge, all day long, there was different people from 2 o'clock on.
good barbecue too.
Oh, good. We didn't do the barbecue, we just did creamy, because we
I
came
didn't
in.
stop by, I feel bad, I could just.
So you want me to just work with Paula? I'm happy to do the work on it.
Yeah.
Great.
If they're over $5,000 and it needs to come in front of select,
Magnet,
Peter's gonna yell at me.
But then you can get the logo, the town logo on them. And then the last thing was something, that I had a question about, the history of, maybe it was when the website was updated recently, but there was the DEI, the Declaration of Inclusion on the homepage. And now it's kind of a small link off of the DEI webpage. And I think it's important to have like the first statement that you see be, we're so glad you're here. You know, that the town of Jericho is committed to building strong community relationships and creating a culture of inclusion and access for all of our residents, businesses, and visitors. That was the first sentence of that declaration. And then read our declaration, and then people can move to the next page. But just to not have it,
Yeah,
especially after it was there, you know, I'm not that comfortable.
Yeah, it's culture. I mean, I'm sorry.
But maybe that was
You
already,
guys here for discussion about taking it off the website?
no, so there was a
There was
discussion.
discussion.
Okay.
I think soon after the election, there was discussion when the federal government was like ripping through
Yeah.
communities, we were like, we wanna keep our head down. And we decided not to,
right.
and the DEI committee came and said, we don't wanna do that,
We thought about, I thought it was worth a discussion about should we consider changing the name to something else and have it with the exact
We
same.
wanted to protect the members.
And we talked about it, and then we talked about it again, and we all opted no, we're gonna go with it. I don't remember. Do you remember a discussion about actually removing that
No.
from the?
No,
And this isn't a, you know, it's not a DEI committee statement, it's a town statement. And so it
on it.
yeah,
doesn't necessarily live in the DEI committee, it lives in the town.
I
And
mean,
so,
they were sponsored it, but
yeah, I mean, so can we get it back? At least the first sentence, and then as the first thing you see when you land on Jericho.
and that's what it used to be, correct?
And it's,
because I think the,
I think we can, here's what I propose. I propose we do it when we move to the new website, which is imminent.
imminent.
imminent,
In a few
yeah.
days.
No, I don't think so. You probably know more than I do.
I don't, but I thought it was supposed to be at the end of.
Sabrina's had training, Paula and Linda.
It was supposed to be the end of August, and the last I heard was like, it was like mid-October.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
But they're-
I thought we were already late, and Chrissy Sheen made passing reference to like,
Okay.
oh, middle of October, I was like, what about August?
I know
They're
the,
having trouble moving stuff over and over.
yeah, because they have had some trainings on the new one, but it's still, you know,
I
not.
can attest to the complexity of moving data from an old website to a new one. It's not as easy as anyone first estimates.
Who is our main web person?
Sabina.
Dana, okay, I mean, is that something that?
I think as a board, we can ask Paula to
I mean, if folks are in agreement.
move it.
Yeah, I mean, because
I'm
even I was surprised when you mentioned them, that it was not there.
Okay, so I'll take the action to follow up with Paula to get it back.
Oh, thanks. I think that was it.
Cool.
Cool.
I have a couple of things, I'm not sure that in it. Couple of things, when you guys screwed me over with 4% plus 4% late fees for taxes. That was a great idea, that was a great compromise.
Such an
It was a
elegant way
great-
that you framed that.
Yeah.
It was a great,
I came up with a great idea and never destroyed it.
I came up with a way.
But that's gonna expire, that was a 2-year thing.
This is the first year.
This is this is,
I just wanna put it on our collective radar, that's gonna expire, and we have to do something about it, we have to like decide, keep it going or change
We need
it.
like one more sentence of information, so
Sorry.
if they have your tax bill.
If you're late on your, what do you say, if you pay late in September, nothing happens. If you pay late in March, like you submit your check at 1 AM on March 16th, you get an 8% penalty, which is a significant amount of money.
Yes.
And the Board of Civil Authority, if you wanna contest anything about your taxes, that comes to the Board of Civil Authority. We had a guy come to us who had pressed on his bank, had just drawn from the wrong account. Caught it. And a couple days after it was due, he caught it after it was due. The town hadn't found it yet, hadn't discovered it yet. He came with a paper check and said, I pressed the wrong button. Here's my check to replace it, and he got an 8% penalty. Really, this is.
and we had no ground, like,
We had no way.
I was with Peter on trying, so we're all also all part of the BCA. I was 100% with Peter on, there's gotta be a way that we can accept that, and we were absolutely overruled by, I think we were the only no votes.
No, it's pretty close, came out of like one person or two people, it's pretty close. But regardless, so then,
But there's very specific things that you can.
Right. That's
so then a subgroup of that group, the BCA, I forget who it was, I know that Kathy Paris was in the BCA and myself,
Right.
we wrote up a proposal to the select board to do away with penalties. That penalty, if you don't pay your bill, there's no penalty. Because there's all sorts of penalties that become automatic. You're paying interest from the loan, you're paying interest on the unpaid debt, you're paying interest on it, and then after X days, I don't know anymore, basically we say, taking your house, pay your taxes, or we're putting you into taking you to court or whatever.
We don't do that.
And the select board said, Eric had the idea, well, we're not gonna do one or the other, what if we said 4% penalty for September and 4% penalty for March? And that passed, and then that was gonna be for 2 years, and then I think it was just like, you have to revisit this, there's no like. If you don't revisit it, this happens, not like default, like we will revisit this in 2 years. So we should put that on our radar of when that is. So is this the first tax year, like is
This is the very
the first payment in the new rules?
Yes. This is the very first tax year.
It's not the board of civil authority.
This is why we set the penalties.
Yeah.
In fact, the fact that staff was very much against even
Yeah.
changing anything.
Yeah.
Because
They like my idea though.
that they liked your idea, but because the town is, some towns take people to court on tax sales, that they even miss the first half of the first payment of the year. Where other towns wait a year, Amy works very hard with people to make sure that we don't have to go to tax sale and have they set up, you know.
And some towns have no penalty at all, and taxes will get paid, and I don't know.
So there's no state,
He wasn't on
Required.
at the time. Apparently,
States-
that's the first time he's mentioned.
but they don't
it.
require 8%.
No.
Recommends 8%.
15%, 8%, 0, Heinsberg is,
State recommends 8, but it's not a requirement.
yeah,
Okay.
Heinsberg has 0, they went to 0 like 8 years ago, and they said there's been no change in there.
What do we do with the 8%?
Part of our budget. You have a line item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Like parking tickets.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's something we need to, when it cycles up, we need to make sure we catch it and decide what to do. The other thing was the speed bump conversation. What do you know, so did I send to everybody the video of
Yeah.
East Avenue?
I love those things.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
I was thinking about them because it's like you're coming back from the UK too, and they.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's right, very much European, but there is, if. Depending on the life cycle cost of these things, there's some in Burlington that are buying Birchwood Terrace and the school there that are temporary ones like ours, only they're just kind of much smoother.
The bumps.
Yeah, they're bumps.
I'm not talking
No,
about.
but she's talking about the little.
You know, he's talking to chicanes,
Yeah.
but, yeah, but those are much more expensive.
I don't know, I'm not sure how, I passed the other one later on that wasn't filled in, it was just. Not the word of the bricks, it was like, and it was better than cinder block, basically like an oval of cinder blocks with dirt and flowers in the middle.
Yeah.
It would look better than that, but it wasn't like, oh, this is gonna cost like 20 grand to build this thing
Yeah.
and make it blended with the sidewalk and all that, it seemed like it could be done for not a ton of money. My question, or my whatever, was, to maybe involve Cody Phillips in that conversation, he's a big bike ped guy and is super smart and might be somebody who has sort of outside the box, like either speed bumps or no speed bumps, or what about this?
So I like that, but Cody Phillips, he called me on the day that we were talking about the speed bumps and asked me to get rid of the speed bumps. He suggested that we work directly with, yeah, he said that guy knows all those things, he knows the cost of them, he knows the effectiveness, he's like, that guy is Jack Evans, thank you, he's the guy that we should,
Okay,
that was what Cody told me, so I think that would be the way to go.
so we should ask Paula I think we should ask Paula to find an agenda day for that and book Jack ahead of time.
And say what works, like, Dude, what
Right.
works?
Yeah.
Just talk to us about what works.
Yeah,
And
because
we
you have.
work our way through like, okay, this works, but it costs us $2 million. Okay, that's great. We
Right.
won't do that one. This doesn't work as well, but it costs us $40. Maybe we'll try that, and just try to get some understanding of where those things are and.
Yeah, because that's also,
There's a little bit of nuance to it too, like in Bernie's presentation, some things work really well with other things.
Right.
Right, like this on its own doesn't do anything and this on its own, but the two of them together and this,
and that's all
proximity
within, all within the report from RBC as well.
So we appropriated 30,000, we spent X number of dollars, so do we have that money that we appropriated left over that we can say this is our budget for speed calming in that area?
It wouldn't be that much
And
money
then
left, so-
start,
There's not much left.
start from there, or we're looking at needing more money?
It won't happen until next fiscal year,
Okay.
basically. There might be something started in the spring, but.
No, we want, but we don't wanna have, we wanna we talk about putting something in place in the spring.
In the
Right,
spring.
or we want
Like around-
around on the agenda in the winter. I would like it on the agenda in the winter
Yeah.
to come up with a decision of this board based on as much good information as we have, to put something in for when things thaw. And yeah, I don't want to wait for the next budget.
Well, and you might need to, pay for it over, the 2 fiscal years or something like that.
Sure.
But maybe we don't want a $50,000 solution. I mean, we can tell local
It's
administrators,
only a few dollars.
we want this kind of solution.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it
We want him to inform us.
20,000 or less.
What would you do with 20 grand, Jack?
Yeah.
And what we do with 40, what we do with 10,
Yeah.
just get a sense of what the needs
It's only
are.
about 13,000 left, I think.
It's on the slides last.
But then you have to worry about how is the rest of the community going to feel, because all 30,000 would belong to the center.
No, we bought 2 speed signs. Didn't we? Didn't we buy 2 of those speed signs? You're going too fast, slow down, slow down. I agree with that.
But I thought those were to replace the ones in the center so that they give you more feedback.
Yeah.
I thought they were for Jericho Corners.
Oh, maybe.
So that 30,000 was not just for that area?
It was,
Unclear.
Oh.
no, it was contentious, right? Like you said, because everyone at town meeting day said they did not want it only to be spent in the center, and how it was proposed was, I was on the board this time, I shouldn't, but how it was proposed was that, oh no, it'll be spent all across Jericho. And now it's only being spent.
Okay.
There's
To be fair to Bernie,
Those little
propose-
flashing
he
lights
does
with the stop
not want
signs.
it only in the center.
But
But, and he really wants us to use these ideas all throughout town and whatever, but
I think we did spend money on those little flashing lights that are all over the stop signs.
That was
That's all.
there, that was before.
okay.
That was before the.
I'm not sure.
No, the ones that Hollow came after the vote.
Yeah.
It's not Hollow Plains more one, so at least those are.
Oh, yeah, Blair National has one too that flashes. Yeah.
there's actually one at the end of Arbor Farm now too.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed it actually flashing.
Oh.
Seems like you want that.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed the bulb.
I would have bet money that Paula bought one of those speed signs that says slow down for Jericho Corner. Jericho Corner, I was sure of it.
You could be right. I don't know.
But
My other thing was, of the 9 affordable housing committee recommendations, one of them was for us to do. Which was to, I'm gonna mess it up and overgeneralize, but we need to make fees smaller for smaller development.
Oh, impact fees.
And, no, I think impact fees, but I think more like to file your PUD, you have to spend $300 for whatever, but those kind of administrative fees, to lower administrative fees based on size of the houses, something to that effect.
Let's find what that is and put it on the agenda.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, we just have to talk to, I guess, Brian, financial people, or I think it also goes through some, Chris is the one who also talks about the zoning fees, so he has the information. Not Chris Shaheen, but Chris.
But, yep.
Well, then
That hasn't been changed in a long time.
I had a question, I think primarily for Amy, about the capital planning process. Is that happening
Yes.
and is it gonna yield anything by town meeting or by like our budget time or?
Not anything substantial, I don't think.
Okay.
So we can talk about it more. What you're gonna have by then is your baseline, what is currently in what Jericho owns, the capital we own.
Everything
Yeah, that will have.
above some, what is there a dollar amount that is above?
It was everything above. So like,
$1,500?
yeah, 1500, like everything we own.
Jesus, that's a lot.
It's a lot of
That's a
stuff.
level of detail I'm not expecting.
It's a lot of stuff. What you're not gonna have is the burn down.
Okay.
But they're bi-weekly meetings where we're walking through this, so
Okay.
it's
So
still
it is moving forward.
happening. Yeah.
Okay, great, that's
What's the burn down?
Burn down is a consultant term I'm using that's unhelpful to normal people.
We can take it up.
NBA thing. Burn down chart shows like, so your house, your car, when you buy it, is worth $40,000. When you drive off the lot, it's worth $30,000. So that's the burn down, and you're going until you reach the point where it's like, where with your car, it's no longer worth maintaining, so you get rid of this, there's always one. Sure.
Thank you.
Is that a fancy word for depreciation?
Yeah, but it's a chart. It's a
We used to
chart.
have
It's
more like
every-
progress on things like, oh, we have this big pile of work and here are all the little pieces. And then you show this chart that says, oh, you've gotten 14 of the 80 things you had to do. And then you present it in a fun little graph.
Yeah.
It's
Project manager love the graph.
We love them
Oh
so
my
much.
gosh.
So
cooler to say burn down anyway.
it is.
Way more than depreciation.
That's right, way over. Burn down.
That's all I had.
That's cool, very cool.
Okay.
And I need executive session.
Oh, I have meeting minutes first.
Yeah.
We're done. We're excited. I have a change. We call Paula Carrier.
Yes,
That's that's my only change too.
Yeah.
9467.
That's exactly right.
Paula seemed like Paula was no.
But,
Well, and also Paul here and Eric Holstein.
yeah, but
Holstein. Eric Holstein.
Eric corrected himself at the same time he realized he said carrier.
I think she wanted us to find that, and that's why she spelled your name with a C there.
Eric, find that.
I'm supposed to right here.
Yeah, the other thing, I mean, they're
Someone has to actually take this.
171 because they minor, I mean, it's just a technical kind of thing.
I'm just gonna email her.
Wait, did Don not do this? I thought Don did this.
Paula does it, and
No, it's not a.
Donna does the
The
one that we're
right.
listening to now, but to go back and update them, I think
That's
Paula.
Paul and then, okay.
I think.
All of them, yeah.
I don't know. Is that true, Donna? Am I making things up?
Yeah,
I just-
that's true. Paula updates them. I mean, I would certainly be willing to do it, but she has always been willing to do it.
I'll take care of it. You do enough. You listen to us enough.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is just minor technical, because I have 171, it says it would be safer for pull onto Route 15. Just safer to pull onto Route 15 from Raceway.
What line is that?
171.
Okay, you guys gotta go slow with these. I got 171, it would be safer to pull instead of for.
Right.
Next.
And the other one, it's important, but it's also technical. 401 and 405. Yeah, Paula said the Jolly crosswalks are up and running. Well, the crosswalks don't move. What you're doing is there are RFBs that are moving. And that's the rectangular rapid flashing beacons are up and running.
So Paul said the Jolly crosswalks are up and running, which we know crosswalks don't actually run.
Right.
And do you like that to say what instead?
I would say like the Jolly crosswalk RRFBs, the rectangular rapid flashing beacons are up and running.
I'll write that out.
Yeah, because that's gonna make less sense.
That doesn't sound like something Paul would say. Why don't I just say the
Flashing lights,
Jolly
crosswalk flashing.
lights.
Flashing beacons, flashing lights, whatever.
Crosswalk are up and running. And that was also on what?
405, it says we're waiting for the blinking pedestrian crosswalks. Well, you could put signal in there and say pedestrian signal, flashing signal for the crosswalk to finish it. But they really are RFFBs.
You guys have actual flashing crosswalks. I feel like you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Right?
Yeah.
And then on
The 467 is your change.
467.
It's what-
Say,
Yeah.
Paula. Paul. How do you spell it?
HOLLSTEIN. Like the cow, the 2 L's.
Mention of Eric.
But Eric doesn't need to be here.
And also, yeah, I think it's budget name too, yeah. Everybody's seen it there.
Right, but that can just be.
That can be stricken.
Yeah, right. All right, I'm gonna send that off. That way they'll have it and they'll pick it up for us, I'm sure. And that brings us to the end of our agenda, unless anyone has a motion they would like to make to go
We
into.
need to.
Oh, sorry.
I make a motion to pass, to approve the minutes as amended.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any other
I'd like
motions?
to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of legal premature disclosure of the information will be detrimental for the parties involved and not including anyone.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Donna.